And we're back. Welcome back to another story about my adventures at the hotel. Now, today's story is about sex workers. So, prostitutes, I guess? Now, when I used to work at the hotel, I used to encounter a lot of guests, specifically men, who would usually ask me for an escort. But the thing is, we were not a brothel. And fair enough, we would get some guys who would come in with prostitutes and, give off the wrong impression, but it was not our place to judge. However, since these escorts knew how popular the hotel was, they tried to get me to pimp them. And I did. And it was simple, because in a weird way, they needed me. And I like money, so I needed them. So it started off with just one girl. This girl was young. She was actually a student at the time, but she was trying to make money to get by. I was curious to know why a girl with her beauty would try to get into this industry. She was smart, she was pretty, but she was a hooker. So my job was to contact her whenever a guest wanted her service. It got so popular that she started including her friends, and of course, as you might not know, prostitution is illegal. But these girls were smart. They would never just straight out advertise that they were selling. They would mask it as if it was a date. And it worked. The guests would pay me, and the girls would pay me. I began to make so much money that I thought being a pimp was not so bad after all. And I was the good kind. The women liked me, the guests liked me, no one was getting humped, and it was all by their choice. So before you judge me, just know that I was doing a good deed. My aid to these escorts was so well received that I would get random calls from women trying to get me to pimp them. True story. And the more I think about it, these girls usually came to me because they felt safe. I made sure that the guests that they were hooking up with were actually desperate and not dangerous, which is a good thing. Now eventually something bad was bound to happen, and it did. So one day we had a guest checked in. This guy was very particular. He didn't want just any girl. He literally gave me references, and at the point where I had to basically show him a catalog of girls. I know that sounds weird to say, but that's basically what it was. And he chose one light-skinned girl in particular that he thought would be perfect for him. So I invited the girl to the hotel to meet him first, because I usually like to give the escorts the opportunity to decide if they want to go through it or not, because some guys just look sick. So when they met, they both seemed to be happy. Little did I know that night would have turned upside down. So I don't know what took place in the bedroom, but I can tell you what happened after. So basically, the guest claimed that the girl tried to rob him. Now this put me in a bad spot because I couldn't vouch for the girl. I couldn't let my manager know that I was pimping out girls. So he began to explain that the girl tried to drug him and rob him of his belongings. This gentleman in particular actually had an escort prior to the one I provided for him. So the girl claims that the guy didn't have any of those items the moment they came in. Some might say he's the actual pimp. Now we can't prove it, but I believe that the first girl he came with actually robbed him, because the girl that I brought in for him was more than happy to get body searched to the point where she literally stripped naked. Things got a bit weird and the guests ended up ratting me out to my manager that I was pimping out girls. And unfortunately that became the end of my business. But fortunately for me, the girl claimed not to have known me, which did save my butt, so shout out to you, escort girl. I guess the moral of the story is that sometimes you try to help people out, but it's not worth the risk. But I must admit that during that period I got to learn a lot of stuff. I got to actually understand why most of these girls actually do what they do. Sometimes it's just tough out there, But anyways, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and please do subscribe. I plan to drop more stories like this, as well as a new cartoon show that I'm working on. So please hit the like button and leave a comment and tell me what you think of the story.